Retail hedge funds have recently been introduced in South Africa. It's in line with new regulation that will control hedge fund and the operations of hedge funds. The regulation's in line to monitor systemic risk after the 2008 financial crisis. At that time, the regulatory bodies in South Africa interacted quite extensively with the local hedge fund community to set up regulation that's fitting, that will both assist the regulators in monitoring hedge funds and systemic risk, but also protect investors into these respective portfolios. They at that point decided to do it in line with CISCA, the Collective Investment Schemes Control Act, which also regulates the very well-known unit trusts, so just a separate pillar under that. I think one of the biggest misconceptions around hedge funds, not just locally but abroad as well, that it's black box investing and people don't know how they generate their returns or their alpha. But at the end of the day, hedge funds invest in exactly the same sort of financial instruments that traditional unit trusts invest into equity, to fixed income markets, etc., commodities. But they have different tools of extracting alpha. So where traditional unit trusts can only go long a stock, how does that work? Is they buy the actual stock. How does a unit trust make money? The stock needs to rise in value. A hedge fund unit trust has a different way. They can also short a stock. What does shorting a stock mean? They can generate profits when the price declines. So they actually sell the stock and make money out of that specific position. And that is also where the hedging part comes into play. Hedging at the end of the day means to protect, because that would prevent or protect the portfolio from participating in large drawdowns when there's a big sell-off in the local, specifically the equity or the fixed income market. The shorting process will enable them to deliver positive results despite the drawdown of the overall financial market. Only one or two management companies in South Africa have been approved to launch new regulated hedge funds in South Africa. Nuvari Collective Investment Schemes has been the first. They've also been the first for launching specifically retail hedge funds in South Africa. Initially, not a big array, but all of the existing hedge fund portfolios in South Africa need to move from an unregulated environment to a regulated environment, and they'll be available either as retail funds or as qualified funds. Most fund of funds will also be moved into this new space. The retail fund open to the general public, qualified fund more appropriate for institutional or knowledgeable investors on hedge funds. The biggest difference between a traditional unit trust and a hedge fund is a hedge fund has an absolute hurdle. What do we mean with an absolute hurdle? They want to deliver positive returns irrelevant of how the market reacts. So they want to deliver cash plus 2, cash plus 3 or inflation-linked positive returns for the investors. That's completely different to a normal unit trust, which has a relative hurdle, where a relative hurdle like the All Bond Index or the All Share Index can actually deliver negative results. Asset manager can still outperform that, but still deliver negative real returns to its investors. So these managers and these funds are set up to protect capital and to deliver consistent positive results. From what we've seen before in the local market and how hedge funds in South Africa have performed, they've consistently over time delivered on this positive results, and we're very confident that they'll be able to do this going forward in the new regulated environment as well. Hedge funds will be structured very similar to a normal unit trust. Unit trust is accessible through normally the management company or through a LISP. Nuvari Collective Investment Schemes is the first approved hedge fund service provider in South Africa. So all those relevant details are available on nuvari.com to access all the products that's been launched by Nuvari. But I'm very confident in due course more products will be launched on other platforms like LISPs, etc.